One. All right, guys. We promised we'd come back, so we are here. We are back for another Hunter x Hunter discussion. This time around, we'll be covering both chapter photo 2 and photo 3. A double this time around, so
That's
we're
right.
pretty
We're
good.
gonna try.
And hopefully the audio isn't absolutely doo doo or dog shit. I'm sorry. At some point in the future, I need a better mic. I genuinely need a better mic. But today's not that day. I'm sorry. It is what it is. Today is not that day.
Yeah, and we appreciate the comments and the likes. And I enjoyed going through them and replying to them.
All right.
Hopefully,
Before we do the read through, apparently Hart here has some agendas that need to be addressed.
We'll get to the agendas later. Specifically, when I get to the page of my boy, my goat, the steady greatness.
All right.
Then the agendas are going to be in place.
All right. So, I'm not about wasting time, so let's go straight into chapter 402, and we're going to give you guys our thoughts on what we think. So, off the rip, just like last time, off the rip, we start with my goat, Zhang Li, and the conversation between him. Surely, I think this is like right after the conversation between him
right after the events of 401.
Yeah. It's right after the events of 401, right after his minor conversation with, what was it, Kurapika?
Bill and Longhi about the contract.
Yeah,
and
the contract.
I forget this guy's name. Tonfintori. Yeah. See, my mind, man. I remember these characters. Okay. Tonfintori basically, because at the end of 401, Kurapika now then got Tonfintori in behind closed doors, and then he filled him in on the conversation of the contract between him and two Beppa's people. And then now he's relaying that information to Zhang Li. And then now Zhang Li is essentially receiving another win con, where if him to Beppa and the 14th, Prince Wolbo,
yeah, this is where they start with the deal.
Yeah. Beppa's going to renounce the throne, and then Zhang Li's going to win. Of course, if we remember chapter 362, Beppa doesn't want any of the first three princes to be king. So we know Beppa is most likely not going to honor this deal.
Yeah.
He agreed to put in writing. He's asking. Yep. And then in return, Kurapika is basically asking for Sakata and Hashito to extend their support indefinitely. And then we go over to Tubeba's POV at the same time. And this subplot has been set up since the boarding of the ship and since Tubeba wants Kurapika as an ally, which ties into Tubeba's name beast, where it needs a partner in order to be able to start, in order to use its ability, which hopefully we'll see in the next batch.
Yeah.
Yep. On the condition that both the Queen and Prince accompany him when he comes here to 1005. So eventually we're going to have to see sometime in the next chapters.
Yeah. I like how, what's his name is thinking. He says they're colluding with Prince Wolbo, or rather, Riha. Now, okay, do you really think he's gonna end up killing Tubeppa? I don't know.
No, not after. We need to see Tubeppa's ability first, because it's been built up for so long. Then I can see Tubeppa dying, but not after seeing what that ability can do. Third Prince also demands to attend in interest of the information gathering, information sharing.
Mm-hmm.
So, Sakata Hashito.
He says, more than welcome. As much as the next class At the next class, as much as you can, impress it upon the first Princess guards how close we are to Prince Shangli. And, you could see obviously the Nen Beast is like right there. It kind of looks like a chameleon
Yeah,
of some sort.
yeah. This toad with wheels and like smoke puffing out. Yeah.
Honestly, I
So
I interpreted that as not smoke, but more like a
exhaustion gas.
no, more like electricity or like a steam engine
Okay.
kind of like.
Yeah. Yeah. Like a vehicle.
Hmm.
Yeah. You carry with you at all times. It will surely bring you good luck. And then here we get your boy been
Yeah.
handing out these coins for like candy for
Yeah.
free, like it's Halloween.
Oh yeah.
He's just been throwing out nilly willy just to see what sticks.
Yeah. Hey, sometimes you gotta test things out before,
Yeah.
figure it out.
And
Like, not
sometimes
everybody's
it is
ability is kind of like just obvious. In his case, he has nothing else he can do. He has to
no
give it up and then figure out,
experiment.
what's the extent of its ability. Like, how long does it take to stack up its ability?
Hmm.
Um,
Yeah.
there's also like the fact that like you get to see Tubepa kind of, you know,
Too bad was monologue. Yeah.
she's monologuing.
Yeah. And
Rihan's like understanding it's a conditional based ability.
yeah.
Tubepa's
And
then
she
disappeared right after signing a peace treaty. Can't be a coincidence, but if this timing has any meaning, it must be conditional.
yeah. And he's already starting to work. And of course Subeppa is immediately trying to use the situation in order to divert attention from her because she knows that she's now the next target of assassination, which she figured out in chapter 388. Or, yeah, 388. And now she's trying to divert that attention and pressure onto Zhang Li. So she's
Mm-hmm.
already like making moves in order to like cause trouble for him and going up against this agreement.
Yeah, but in all honesty, I feel like Zhang Li's probably knew that she would do something like that anyway.
Yeah. But obviously we the events of 410,
Yep.
we know this ends up failing. It doesn't matter because martial law kind of throws everything out of whack. So all
Yep.
these plans are just kind of thrown to the wayside.
Yep.
Yeah, and then we get a continuation of
There we get the.
the conversation between Tubapa and my boy Seti from chapter 362.
Mm-hmm.
About um, they'll continue their conversation of a possible alliance at the banquet. But of course, my boy, he's just been focused on them.
The next couple pages are pretty interesting. Well, with the poison and
Yeah,
shit.
TSK 17.
This was such a random like minor subplot that turned out to be super important. Like I didn't know we were gonna get like a whole like poison like death needle kind of thing. And
Mm-hmm.
this man had stored it in his shoe.
Yeah, in his military boot. It's inconspicuous like that. But this is a subplot I've been
Uh,
excited for since 2018. I wanted this subplot back in 2022, but Togashi had plans for us. He wanted to focus on the mafia
yeah,
stuff
like
and the
I want to
family.
know what other weapons of mass destruction were created. Our military created
Yeah, like
numerous weapons of mass destruction. This was considered a failure when flaws were found in its during development. It's the perfect silent killer under the right circumstances. The initial symptoms resemble stomach flu, and then timing and vectors of infection can be easily obscured. We can use existing prevention protocols to limit collateral damage. The surface proteins are fragile and unstable, denaturing in less than 30 seconds. Pathogens. I mean, like, okay,
very meta.
this man actually went to the detail of like
Togashi, bro.
specifying like the symptoms that the pathogen takes when
Yeah,
like once it's like ingested into the body.
my
That's
boy was
kind of
also,
crazy.
my for
It
those who know
even
Togashi.
talks about like look at this, right? It
Mm-hmm.
even hastens decay and is subsequently outcompeted by putrefact- putrefactive. bacteria, leaving no traces in its autopsy. That means when TSK 17 hits a person's body, first it gets stomach flu, right? And then the bacteria spreads pretty easily. Then the pathogens basically
Mm-hmm.
the symptoms get rapidly worse in a span of 12 hours. You go from stomach flu to multiple organ failure.
Yeah.
And it even specifies it hastens decay, which means that your body naturally has like decay, your cells decay, right? Your
Mm-hmm.
cells will, the more sick you are and the sicker you get, your cells begin to deteriorate. Your body tends to, I'm not really a medical student or anything, but I
Yeah.
remember from like basic biology, for your cells, the way your cells repair themselves is
Mm-hmm.
they split into two using mitosis, and then like the cell that's weaker basically decays, and then it will repair the injured area. But because this hastens the decay, um, it basically weakens the body to the point where they can't really like do anything. Our computer putrefactive, leaving no trace in the autopsy. That's so crazy. Like
Yeah.
the fact that like a medical examiner at the end, when they're examining the body, can't actually tell you what killed them because
Yeah.
the bacteria
All
basically
they can say is
decays.
that yeah. All they can like say it's organ failure.
Yeah, it's just
It's a scary virus because like
and,
these cocky
and it's
out here
airborne.
weaponizing illnesses
It's
as
airborne. It's
weapons
airborne
as
with
weapons of
a
biological warfare.
in a room without circulating air. Anyone who breathes it in uh, at the epicenter have 100% infection and death rate. It multiplies so quickly, so we've been limiting its use due to high risk and spontaneous mutations. But in this case, it necessitates deployment. I mean, yeah, I can see the problem where if it was flowing in circulating air, it might target like the wrong person,
Mm-hmm.
or it might not be as effective. That's why it specifies in a room without circulating air. Meaning, if there was
Yeah.
free flowing air, it probably wouldn't be as effective. But in an area where there isn't that much of a breeze and it's kind of just stale, you could effectively kill somebody.
Mm-hmm.
And I like how its half life reduces depending on such a short distance. Um,
Yeah.
usually half life is a usually
Yeah.
half life is a term you only use for like radioactivity, if I remember correctly, where it's like n- nuclear fallout or like basically anything that's radioactive decreases its effectiveness uh, in range,
Mm-hmm.
and also I'm not too sure, so please correct me in the comments if I'm wrong, of course. But if the if a specific area is considered like the epicenter, the further away you go from it, the more like the less effective it is. And Half Life is basically kind of like that, where it's like, okay, if there's a radioactive material on initial impact, it might have like a life of like, let's say 10, then it reduces to 5, then 5 reduces to 2.5, then 2.5 reduces to 1, and so on and so forth. It's kind of like the further away something is, the less effective, like the less effective the radioactive compound is. But in this case, it's not radioactive. It's just a straight up bacterial chemical weapon,
Yeah.
which is pretty cool. And they said this fails. This is a failure of a military weapon,
Yeah.
which goes to show
But
well,
its
like
failure
what
is
did
like its strong point because it's undetectable.
yeah, but also what does that mean for the military of Kaki? And like if
Hockey's
they
scary,
consider
bro.
if they consider this as a failure, like what's considered a successful weapon?
Dude, talking is scary, man. Like, because this is cool cocking military lore, and we're getting to see like just how dangerous these guys are, and we already know that cocking's a very closed country from the rest of the world, and it's even in real life, man, where the TSK-17 is like very similar to like fentanyl, for example, where countries are out here using like drugs as biological weapons. Of course, this isn't exactly a drug, but it's very similar to D2, the drug that Gyro was creating from the trees back in Chimera Ant. And of course, those drugs are highly addictive, and
Yep.
they're for the goal of disseminating evil. And
Mhm.
of course, you know how drugs are addictive, destructive. They destroy you, and if you try to like get off of them and you try to go cold turkey, you die from. There are some drugs that are so
Yeah,
lethal, Grin, that
I
you
know.
die from the withdrawal. Yeah,
Yeah. Actually, there's certain drugs where you can't even get to the
that
point of
makes
withdrawal because you.
meth and cocaine look cute, man.
Yeah.
They make those look cute.
There are certain drugs that like you could die on uh like just inhaling it accidentally. So if your body isn't adapted to it, you could just die from.
Yeah,
Okay, next panel. I could see the
yeah,
agenda coming from a mile away, but give it a second.
yeah, yeah. I'll use this
um,
to
Boss,
Ninth Prince Hulkenberg.
you see, yeah, obviously Balsamico is like puts it in a shoe. He has like the trigger in his hand. He's kind of got everything ready.
Determined, yeah.
And
Dude, the
now we
art is
cut.
so good. Like we
Now,
get to see this subplot that's been building up since chapter 389, and
now
then
we cut to.
we get to see this in 403, 404, and
Now
then
we cut to
now
Serenich. Yeah.
here comes my glaze. I hope you enjoy talking, Gren, because I'm about to steal the show. How many seconds? 9.67 seconds. So now we're seeing the continuation of the events of chapter 3.
Mhm,
Serenich's goal
mhm.
to get his Zetsu in under a second, and then he's going to wipe the floor with Salkov, which we all know. Let's be real here. And I even made this bet with Gren, and I told him this.
I
My
mean, it's not even a bet with me. It's a self-made bet. Like I have no
yeah,
stakes in this at
yeah, you
all.
have no
I didn't even
you don't have to
ask
win
for a
anything.
bet. I just woke up and this man said, "Hey,
Yeah,
yo, you know what? I'm gonna say." I'm like, okay, okay, bro.
I told Gren like, bro, this is a Nen vow, Nen constriction, bro. The stronger the Nen vow, the more dangerous and the stronger my level of resolve. So here's my bet. I told Grin that if Sarah Nitch doesn't perform a phenomenal feat in the next batch, or if he gets dog walked, or like if his character doesn't ascend in ways that I expect, you know, I'm going to say 10 nice things of 3 mangaka that I absolutely abhor with every fiber of my being. That being Horikoshi, Kishimoto the Thief, or Loda. And those are the 3 mangaka that Grin will choose. And if I get none of these things for my boy, then I will dedicate a segment in a much later upcoming video to say 10 nice things about those frauds. You know, that's this
On
is
it,
Nenanomics 101.
honestly, guys, this is the bet with y'all, not me. I have no investment in this. Like, I don't care. I enjoy Hunter and I enjoy a bunch of other series too. Here, he's well. Yeah, I don't know. I don't have anything. I don't. I don't know. I don't have anything to say. You just decided to have violence with yourself, and I'm like, okay, fine. You do you. It's not me. This has nothing to do with me.
Amen. But anyway, he's now started training. I believe this has been a day so far.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. And right now he's managed to get under 10 seconds. We kind of get I can't we can't even say that this is Nen lore. Finally less than 10. This will take a while. Look at my boy, swaggy, beautiful, goated. Try again in 10 seconds, finally, and multitasking. It took me a whole year to get to that point. I've known Setsu since birth. I thought the 10-second barrier was supposed to be hard to overcome. So for normal average jabronis, it takes people a year. or 6 months on average to be able to like break this. For Nen geniuses, we'll assume like
Well,
go and
to
kill.
be fair, for most normal, average people, they probably don't even get Nen.
That's true. That's true.
The majority of the world is like filled with people who probably never use Nen. Getting Nen itself puts you in the rare category. Then to be born with Nen is an even rarer thing. To be extremely talented with Nen puts you even higher than that. Like
this is basically Togashi pretty much revealing that Sakov is a child of Beyond, because cursed children are born with Nen, and they're born already like they're already born mastering and knowing Ten and Zetsu, because they have to regulate between these two these basic Nen tenets in order to not die from exhaustion.
Yep.
And this just shows how unreal my boy is. That a child of Beyond, who's known Zetsu since birth, is feeling jealous of my.
Honestly, Serenich is he's definitely like elite, like under the top 1% of people with Nen.
Yeah, and
is he the greatest in the verse? I don't know, but Hart would tell you. Hart would convince you otherwise.
I said this. He's the equivalent of the Don Freaks of our era. He's more talented than Jing. And Jing has more talent than Gon, aka 1 in a million talent. I'd say Jing's closer to the ballpark of Seti, but of course Seti's more talented. Seti has accomplished more than Jing has in years. And he's been training in less than 2 weeks. Who's done this before? Who's achieved this in the history of the story? In the history of the world. I truly feel bad for Neto in the
I'll say this. I feel like Serenich is definitely like up there. I don't know if he's on Dome Freaks level though. I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
But Dome Freaks relies on like nuts and berries and like rice off the DC.
Nobody survives on DC. He does. He's on a league that nobody in the entirety of Hunter x Hunter has seen before. Okay? He's not surviving there. No, he's not surviving. He's not surviving DC.
Bro, he enslaved these calamities, bro.
He's not surviving DC. I'm sorry. I know he's your GOAT. He's not surviving DC. We're not even surviving DC. We're not even there yet. Like, yeah.
Who are you talking about? Like you, me, like in general, or like you talking about the rest of the?
No, I'm talking about the rest. Like all of us as like readers aren't even close to DC yet. We're not even there yet. We're not even at the refueling station yet. We're like, yeah, we've got a way to go to go there.
Yeah. So,
but anyway,
this 10-second barrier thing, it's presumably very extremely difficult to get past. If Gon and Killua did this, now this is where my agenda is coming. But let me continue to the page.
Next page.
What took 6 months from me takes a single day for Seti. He's in a league of his own. You're doing great. Your speed is remarkable. Considering his temperament, this monster would use Nen or politics only for his own self-interest. Data is right. Something has to be done. But according to her, Seti activated some kind of ability during Zetsu. Even among specialists, he's breaking all the rules. Listen, this is some of the highest level of glaze Togashi has ever given a character in all of his manga. That even among specialists, and specialists are already like kind of busted and freaky, you're doing some crazy stuff, stealing abilities, having multiple abilities, seeing the future. You're telling me that this man, even among specialists, he's too much for them. He's on an echelon of his own. I'm telling you, bro. He's goated, and you say I'm capping when I say that Bubblicious, aka Nasubi, fought and basically had the Mickey Mouse contest, during the Cupcake era.
I can't. Hey, nah, hold up. We don't know that. You can't be pushing your own agenda to cancel out other people's agenda based on information that hasn't happened yet. You can't call it the Mickey Mouse Clubhouse Cupcake era if it hasn't happened yet. We haven't got information of what Nasubi was going through.
But anyway, we continue.
What do you mean? Just go glaze past that? Okay.
No. Because I have to show this one panel at the bottom to truly begin the glaze, to truly like go full force into my glaze. But we of course we learn more about his Nen Beast, his second Nen Beast. So it has an ability where it stockpiles a whole bunch of Nen, and then when he goes into Zetsu, then it activates. Zetsu must be the trigger for the Nen Beast to activate all the ore it's been storing up. But I can't eliminate the possibility that Theta was manipulated by his guardian spirit beast when she was attacked and isn't a reliable source of truth. Of course, we know that this is incorrect because we've seen the POV. I haven't seen the Prince's Nen Beast yet after all. So it's been very cautious. Your Highness, regarding the hunter called Melody, I can't do much until I have more information. The Justice Department suspects her involvement, meaning she's still detained. And this is Vantine. Also, Prince Benjamin must have the same idea, as his soldiers haven't left the area. Just don't let Big Bird Brain get to her first. Keep asking to see her, find out what she's thinking, and win her over. And then, this is my glaze. The glaze is about to begin, Grin. His Zetsu is uninterrupted, while running, gaming, and carrying on a conversation. You need to train for years to do that kind of thing. Hell, I can't do that. And people really say that genetics really matter. Bro, if genetics really were matter, why aren't the rest of Beyond's kids like that, bro? Clearly, there's more than just genetics at play here. But these people are delusional. These people who, the blind witnesses, the people who want to downplay my goat.
Well, to be fair, I'd say genetics does matter to some extent because some people are born with talent and other people aren't. That's just how it is.
Yeah. Wait. Stop. Don't think about it. I'm going to lose faith in myself just from hanging around this guy. Hats off to you, Theta. Now, my glazing begins, Grin.
Okay.
We'll go to chapter 50. Supposed 1 in a million talent. You guys aren't able to see this, but Grin is, because I'm sharing the screen. This is during his fight with Guido and Hunt in Heaven's Arena.
Mm-hmm.
Let
me scroll up to see where does it.
Go for it.
Where does it? Where does it? Read the thing. Okay. Yeah, Killer's like you. The Wing told you that a defensive party might as well be kindling against net attacks. I know, but to feel all the top's movement only by their aura, I need to focus all my senses on them. Can't afford to be distracted by 10 right now. Never intended to win as much.
Baloney, Grin. Look at this. My goat. Okay, let's rewind the clock a little bit. Mm-hmm. In chapter 385, we first see Seti uses Zetsu, and we get a comment from Theta that even though he's just standing still because that's the level that he's unable to move yet and do all these other things. But even just standing still, his Zetsu is impeccable. Mm-hmm. So it's already perfect Zetsu. Mm-hmm. Seti basically knew that, okay, I need to be able to maintain my Zetsu. So he's able to move around, do these other things. Mm-hmm. And I need to increase the speed to get under Zetsu in a second. Mm-hmm. And that way my future sight ability will be powerful. So Seti has effectively nullified one of the weaknesses. And he's able to not only maintain his Zetsu, we later see in 404 that he gets it under sub 3 seconds. Mm-hmm. Just doing this.
Yep.
Who's done that in the hit, bro? And you're telling me this jabroni 1 in a million talent needs to get into Zetsu just to be able to follow these goofy tops, bro? Pathetic, bro. Baloney. And the only, and this irks me a little bit, because these people have to rely on the fact that Ogon and Killua knew Zetsu earlier, because that's their only cute little W they can put over my king, my goat. But this is where my agendas begin, Grin.
Mm-hmm.
Down with chapter 50. I already proved my point. They need to rely, bro. If my Go said he was fighting against Guido, he'd get into Zetsu just for the fun of it, just to humiliate him, and then he'd kill Guido. He could probably be in 10 and still sense that goofy that Beyblade aura. Jinga Hagane, Tyson, Kai, Mike, whatever, bro. And then we go back. We fast forward to chapter 57. Wing gives these two bums, these 1 in a million jobbers, an assignment, little bit of homework. He tells them, yo, like, start working on your Gyo. And of course, you need to learn, work on your Tenon Ren to be able to use Gyo. It took them a day. Granted, they learned their Gyo in the span of a night. And they're basically using Gyo to see past Hisoka's in order to discern what his ability is. Look at this bum sweating, bro. 1 in a million talent? Pathetic. And then, of course, we go to my GOAT, chapter 368, the GOAT. Half of the first day.
Yeah. No, they might be 1 in a million. They might be a 1 in a million talent, but Saturnich might be like 1 in 100 million. 1 in 100 million, maybe.
Nah, he's not in the millions, bro. Let's be real. He's in the billions. This guy's,
of course, he's extremely talented and very gifted.
Without his aura nodes forcefully opened, his 10 and Ren is phenomenal. He's able to maintain his 10 and Ren for hours. This man got the hang of Gyo in half of the day, and he's been casually doing this. Meanwhile, this fraud, a 1 in a million talent who's had months of training at this point in the story, is sweating.
Yeah, I mean, keep in mind, it's 1 in keep in mind, 1 in a million is still pretty good considering the vast majority of people who learn Nen never make it to that level. Like, Saturnich is just the exception. Like, this man is
just that guy, bro, the GOAT.
Yeah, he is. He's just the exception.
Yeah, but of course they have to rely on like, oh, he knew that too, bro. He knew that too at birth, bro. He knew that too. I don't care. And then of course we fast forward into chapter 201.
What is that voice? What did you do, bro?
So here's what these frauds are gonna do now. At this point in the story, these frauds, these two 1 in a million bums, they're not even 1 in a million, bro. To me, they're plumbers and milkmen at this point. They were struggling against Knuckle, a plumber, a milkman, someone who runs the clock.
Look,
these people, these two kids, they at this point in the story, this is months already. They've had months of Tenon Ren and like learning the basic tenets of Nen.
We're at Greed Island with Bisky when Bisky's basically training.
This is the beginning of Chimera Angren.
Oh, this is the beginning of Chimera.
Where they're trying to fight Knuckle and shoot. Bisky tells them maintain your Ren for 3 hours. This bum says on a good day he can maintain it for 55 minutes. Pathetic. Okay. Now we fast forward. We get to see like look at these two frauds, bro. Of course Kill was better than mid freaks here. Weak freaks. And Bisky says it hasn't been an hour yet. Keep going. And of course, I'm not going to show this yet, but it takes them until near the end of the month deadline to finally be able to be able to maintain Ren for 3 hours casually and not even think about it. Look at my not sweating, not trying, doing this like
the whole day,
like it's any other thing, like it's Tuesday for him.
Yeah, like I said,
this is the same obsessed guy who holed himself in his room day and night without sleep, without eating, breaking gun records, speed running. And you're telling me these two 1 in a million jabronis with months of Nen training, 10 and Ren, can't even maintain their puny little Ren in an hour? Can't even do that? Yeah. Meanwhile, my boy's been doing this in half a day. And we know this guy probably is like maintaining his Ren for 24/7. Because this is the same guy who's obsessed. Hasn't left his room since he stepped in and went his Nen training.
Yeah, remember,
He's been in the last
we got the thing from, I forgot which one it was, but we got a thing from Togashi where he said that like just because you have a lot of time then doesn't necessarily mean you'd be the one to win a fight because experience also counts, right? Experience with your nen and
Mhm.
practice also counts towards a person's ability of using their nen ability. So like even though they're extremely talented, they wouldn't like they can't beat people like Knuckle and Shoot who've been using their nen for God knows how long, been
Yeah,
experienced with
but
it.
I bet said he could have done it.
Yep, but that's also because Seti is like a like this man is not only extremely talented, he's just he's just him, I guess. Yeah, he's just him.
Yeah,
He's both
and
talented and dedicated and hardworking, and has just a general knack for controlling
exactly
most of his nen abilities. Like
killer mentality, mental intangibles. He's got the it factor. You know, it's what
he's okay.
separates Michael Jordan from other players.
Yeah, but here's the thing, right? You can't just throw away like Gon and Killua. Like they're kids. They're kids, and not only are they kids, they're also the fact that like if it was anybody else
Mm-hmm.
apart from Serenich, I'd make the argument that they're like absurd level of talent. But it's because it's Serenich that like you can't. It's like the equivalent of having very talented people in class in like a in school
Mm-hmm.
versus like the best versus like the best uh okay, let me take football football. Let's say you're naturally gifted at football and you're pretty good compared to the rest of your class or maybe even the rest of the people in your I don't know your region or your state maybe even your country, right?
Mm-hmm.
If you're really good at football and you're probably the best in your state with a little bit of training, like natural training, you could probably get to the point where you could compete in the national level league. But Sedinich is like the equivalent of like the best footballer of your age who is born in a in a rich family who's also has like national football talent who also just at the age of like I don't know 3 managed to become like school champion and then by the age of 10 this man soloed like became the youngest running footballer ever to be accepted in in a national team. And then by the time he's entering high school, he's considered the greatest footballer in all of in the entirety of his country for his
Yeah,
age. Like Serenic is just one of like he literally is just
there's no
I don't
one like
know.
him, Grin.
Yeah, he's just him.
You see where I'm getting at? He's the peak of human Nen talent. We've seen him achieve feats that have never been replicated before, and this is a story that's been going on for 20 plus years. Learn
The
about
only people I'll say that I don't know where they are in comparison to Serenich. I'm still gonna put Don't Freaks above Serenich. I'm sorry, but that's because he's achieved the impossible. Like,
I mean, I bet said he could do it too, but
and then Guido has a lot of glaze, but also I don't really know where Guido's at. Like, I don't really know about him. We know nothing,
dude,
so I'm
we
not
don't
gonna.
talk about that fraud, bro. He's
Uh,
destined. His destiny is to be folded by a prepubescent child.
I mean,
That's his destiny.
technically, they said they will meet again. That doesn't necessarily mean they will fight. They might just meet up. Who knows?
Yeah, but we're not gonna talk about Gyro. We're never seeing that guy in the story ever again. But
But
one last thing before we continue on.
apart from Don't Freaks, I don't know who's on that same level.
Now, this is for the frauds. the bums who like to discredit my boy and say, "Oh, he's only like that because of genetics," when clearly genetics aren't enough because these frauds, Sokov and Long Key, are just jabronis compared to the boy. So clearly genetics on everything, and Gon Freeze doesn't even have the Jing level talent, and Jing at the same age as Gon was the only everything.
Sorry, what?
Uh, that you don't basically like genetics on everything and you don't inherit everything,
Okay.
and that just because you know Gon is the son of Jing, he doesn't have the talent of Jing at the same age as he did. So here's what I'm gonna say. I even got this quote up from Reinhard from Legend of the Galactic Heroes, and here's what he says to hopefully put to bed these silly these silly goofy insults or claims from the blind witnesses to discredit my goat, the king. He says, genes determine everything? What nonsense. Individuals are not responsible for their genes. Individuals are individuals. Family lines or genetics have nothing to do with the abilities of the individual. People who believe that genes decide everything are truly worthless people who can only do what they are told. Listen, he's saying that, not me. I'm not calling the viewers worthless. He continues, people who boast of their ancestry have nothing that they can boast about in themselves. True words have never been spoken. Those people are the ones that I truly disrespect. Listen, he said it, not me. My boy said it in the most succinct, beautiful way possible.
Who?
Reinhard from Legend of the Galactic Heroes.
Okay.
Some of the viewers might watch know Legend of the Galactic Heroes. But that's all I need to say about these goofy little statements of genetics. Clearly, my goat is built like that because he is that guy. He's just him. And Netero himself wasn't even that talented. Raul reached his peak at 46, and then only after that he got good. But anyway, we'll continue because we've been rambling on about my king. We've been
We get to see the whole Melody and Cacho part.
over him.
Right? Then you get what the mark on what forgets his back, right?
Yeah. Yeah, the injection side.
The thing that I really like here is the reveal that it specifies that Melody specifies some Nen powers involve a multi-step process, which means that sometimes to activate a certain ability it requires multiple steps. Similar to kind of how what's his name? Similar to what Crollo said that like some of his abilities require several conditions to be fulfilled before he can activate his abilities.
Yeah. They speculate that the one who's behind this is Lazarus. I remember when this chapter first came out, of course it's the bums at the subreddit who are perpetrating this goofy narratives, basically saying that, oh, this makes no sense. Togashi made a retcon that because princes Nenbis can't attack other princes. Here's the thing: he only said directly, indirect. Two, this makes sense because of course if we remember Nen beasts, they're the reflection and manifestation of the person. Lazarus is ingratiated with drugs. Of course, it would make sense that his Nen beast would take after that facet of his character. So it's very easy. It makes very perfect sense for Melody to logically reach that solution. That okay, Lazarus could be the main suspect. And I don't know why a lot of these fools had qualms with that that line of logic. It's an issue of critical thinking. That's all we can say here, Grin. I don't know what the mental illness is.
That's what it is.
They talk about he manages the mafia and deals drugs to raise funds. I see. He's not consciously making the attack, so it would be impossible to persuade him. Only way to defeat the prince or the den beast itself, we have to take action right away. And then this leads, of course, into the subplot with the letters, which is the main crux of this chapter.
Mm-hmm.
Basically they made a plan.
Yeah.
Getty, I don't know if there's a barrier around the ship itself, but the door didn't open when she imagined a place off the ship, but it did connect to the rooms where the life ports are kept, and she got inside the laid one. So we can go there again at any time, but there are things we haven't been able to test yet, and that's whether other people besides you can go inside. I think it'll work on the way out. The door
I like
closes
how
when Getty goes in.
Kaiser's kind of putting things
Mhm.
together. He really is like one of the most pivotal pieces in this arc. Like with him in the Justice Bureau, I don't really know what his plan is, but like he, for him to come up with a kind of a counter strategy and figure out the best way to approach Lazarus, uh, use how alongside Melody and Kacho is like just goes to show how kind of tactical his character actually is when it comes to like planning. Do you really think
Mhm.
he's here to help Melody, or he genuinely just has his own agenda?
He's got to have his own agenda, but for some reason it involves these three. The dude's an enigma. Yep. And they're talking about the door closes when Getty goes in, and on the way back it closes the moment I get inside the tunnel. Basically explaining the ability and how it's a dual natured ability where both of them control the opening and the return trip. You'll need more people for your plan. Someone who can carry Prince Lazarus to the lifeboat while he's knocked out with my flute. Ideally, we would have Prince Lazarus agree to an escape plan and get on the lifeboat voluntarily, but I don't think that he's that stupid. Your ability would make sure it happens. Even better, if we could poison or strangle him on the spot. No, it would be much to make it look like an accident. I'll be the mule. Have it done while you're getting questioned to establish your alibi.
Yeah.
Would claim to be deceived by your music, but that's not a problem. There will be traces of drug in your urine and hair,
He
so we can
seems like
say
a
they're
very
lying to cover up.
efficient. He seems like a very efficiency first person because he specifies it would be much better to make it look like an accident, which means in his mind he's probably thinking of the fact that it would be a whole lot easier if Lazarus died in this and it would look like an accident. That way they can actually, you know, inspect Lazarus and then beast and stuff and also kind of get rid of one problem as it is, rather than going through the whole effort of trying to capture him and confront him and all of that extra shit.
Mm-hmm. Yep. So Lazarus, bro, his days might be numbered, man, because we find out in 410 that he's along with Zhang Li, MIA, gone. So who knows if this plan actually succeeded? And Lazarus might be seeing the pearly gates. Well, it sounds like a plan. There's one where we connect the door. Prince Lazarus' bedroom. Fugetsu will need to go there first because that's the ability. She needs to go to places in order for her to use the door. And then this leads into the letters, and the letters itself are like a whole other multifaceted plan, which sows chaos, sows disorder, destabilizes the princes, causes the princes to develop suspicions of each other, and become more worried. When in reality, all the letters are for is just a way for Fugetsu to go to every single room to be able to connect them to the door. You know, keep going, be interested in a letter containing as long as we
Safety.
guarantee safety.
Yeah. I like how this man
It's
says, ideally have
mhm.
Lazarus join the escape plan, but he knows that Lazarus probably wouldn't willingly go. So that's why he has to come up with the whole counter strategy for it.
Yeah. I'm not sure they let a lower rank prince, and of course Kaiser uses his clout to be able to allow them to go
Mm-hmm.
to every prince.
That'll depend on my negotiating skills. Worst case, I could like force asks you to search his quarters. Warren forgets him.
Nope.
Take the throne.
There's no turning back after this. Are you sure? Yep. And he says he wants to take the throne and change the system.
He wants forgets you to take the throne and change the whole system.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I won't detect any change in his heartbeat. If I can't figure out his true intent, I'll have to assume he's on the enemy's side. I didn't join the Justice Department to blindly uphold the law. It's to get closer. It's to get the world closer to my ideal, gentler world, or at least he or the one who's manipulating still considers us useful.
I think Kaiser is the type of character where he's willing to go to any length to ensure there's order and justice in the world, even if that means like doing a lot of shady shit.
Yeah.
Because he says I can make the dirty work. I can do the dirty work to make that happen, even if I lose the right to join that gentler world. Like he's willing to sacrifice everything to ensure that someone he believes or someone he trusts can turn the world into a more turn Kakin into a more like peace loving country rather than the shady, nation it currently is.
Mm-hmm. Nope.
Okay, then obviously the Justice Bureau confront everybody with the letter.
Yeah. First go to Benjamin.
Yeah, go to Benjamin.
We'd like to personally hand him.
You step over here. Slice, of course.
Away.
And
this is where the chapter speeds up. I can take it to him.
Yeah.
An official proclamation of succession, but please can't let him through. There's one point. What? She's on her last legs.
Yeah.
Thanks so much for. Yeah, and this is where we get more characterization of Benjamin. That his concern, that this guy has like the soft side to him. This empathy, this humanity within him. After we always thought that he was like one of the more monstrous and barbaric of the princes.
But
a warmonger.
He's actually pretty. He's okay. I think he cares for the younger, for the younger princes.
The younger ones compared to the the older ones, especially my boy the goat.
Yeah.
You step over there. And then Beast wipes it, scares them off. They're low-level evil spirits that plague someone in a weakened state. They're not 11 princes, guarding spear beast or scheme. She just spawned after her sister's death. She won't last 10 days. I accept. Shall I open it now? By all means. I will act as a witness. If there is any information pertaining to succession. Of course, in chapter 403, by this point in the story, Balsamoko tried and failed the assassination attempt. And before him interacting with him, Benjamin was on the phone with Balsamoko. And of course, in 403, you also get his POV of what the letter actually said. And we'll go through that later when we do get to 403. You still can't find Muse? No. Considering the timing, when you closed off the passageway, we focused our search on Tier 1 but haven't found them. We can invoke our authority to conduct a search of all Prince's quarters. Now, of course,
you get the,
Benjamin's acting like they haven't found him, when in reality he knows that he was instantaneously killed.
Oh, this is where Benjamin kind of slips up and mentions martial law, and Kaiser immediately picks up on it.
Yeah.
Yeah, he picks up on it. And obviously Kaiser puts 2 and 2 together in the next page. Where it says authority has many levels, point of contention in court. Here is about about military crisis in which someone in the military is victim. This case does indeed apply, but Benjamin instead brought up martial law, which indicates a higher level of national survival. It's clear he's waiting for an opportunity to implement martial law. He's probably racking his brain while pretending to remain calm over the contents of the letter. He hasn't even noticed he misspoke yet.
Of course, that's how Kaiser interprets it. But in reality, this is Benjamin who's fresh off the conversation with Balsamoko, where he's suspicious of Balsamoko if he can even trust him, or if he's like actually being manipulated by Hulkenberg. So that on top of that, and the letters, and this letter right here, which reveals that Hulkenberg is the child of Unma, got him slip, this Freudian slip.
Yep. Yeah. We see then the letter go to Beppa. I see go
Yep.
to Tyson.
Yep.
You know,
And then we go to Lazarus.
go to Lazarus.
And declare my
Such a cool panel of Lazarus, honestly.
Yeah, sorry about your sister.
He's
Thank you
also
for
a
your
lot
kind words.
smarter than I thought he was.
Yeah. And then here, did your sis tell you anything about the letters, or all the letters are the same? No, she never had a chance to tell me. I guess she didn't want you to get involved. It has nothing to do with succession, but Mr. Bigwig should take a look at this. Allow me. I told Prince Gotcha what to write, of course, because they're using secret information. Yep. Let's shake up the princes while we're at it. How? And then they've gathered information on the princes. So this man Kaiser has like Hakeem Prince lore for me, but
Mm-hmm.
we need to see it in the next batch because Kurapika intends to reveal it all, to
Mm-hmm.
reveal Oito's letter,
Yeah,
which is to maintain and defend our neutrality.
deterrent. So literal bombshells used to advantage. Of course, you know any of that. Desperate source of leak. Defect questions taken too deep. Next friend allows you to hand me the letter. He may be more careful and skeptical. This is where I said, yeah, he's a lot smart, more skeptical and careful. Mm, is is
Yep,
one
it could be a defamation claim as a
a
ploy to get you
defamation
guys to
campaign
look
as
like
a
a
ploy to
realtor.
get you guys a realtor. Yeah.
Believe me, they will be
Some
planified. Not like I can talk.
yeah, this
So
panel where he's like something weird here. Her last message wasn't to ask to protect her sister, but instead filled with bombshells about the other princess. The older sister was pretty smart. Each letter has got to be different. Get the snakes, me and Ford to duke it out, while she milks the tears on Benjamin to secure her sister's position. That means it's dangerous to act carelessly. I should bide my time. He
yeah,
really is
I
smart.
have no idea why any of them are true, and I don't care to find out. You can
Yeah, now we get Basho.
keep the balance. Of course, he actually trusts the letter,
Mm-hmm.
and he says it's hypothetically a defamation campaign, but deep down he believes that this is a defamation campaign, uh, that this is that this letter is that the intent of the letter is to have all these princes conspire and attack each other,
Yeah.
when in reality the goal is just for this door, and that their goal is to actually manipulate Benjamin in order to get her to protect her, and then while these other guys get wiped out.
Yeah.
You know, but of course Lazarus is suspicious, very intelligent.
Yeah. Next page we get what? Basho.
You know,
Uh,
and
showing
we get more
Basho.
applications of his ability where it's able to have
It's like a good luck charm that also acts like
yeah,
a purification ritual kind of thing.
yeah, healing and exorcist qualities.
Yeah.
And this is the first time in 20 plus years that we get to see his ability being used. We only seen it used once in the very beginning of Yorknew, and that was 20 plus years ago.
Yeah. Then we get the thing where Melody sends all of this information to Kurapika.
Yep, right. Basho gave us some time. I'll use my ocarina for logistical reasons. Is it the tunnel? That rum. And then they're talking about the rumbling, aka the assassination attempt in 403.
Yeah.
Only Prince Hulkenberg is here in tier 2, and of course Hulkenberg himself fell ill. Of course, we know what actually happened there. You know,
Yeah. I mean, we get that in the
Hulkenberg.
next chapter. Yeah.
Yeah,
But that's pretty sure almost everything we get in this chapter.
yeah. I signed someone I know to attend duty. His letter contains all the information. Prince Benjamin's secret. His child, we know this. Prince
Yeah.
Seren's gravity. And the truth about Hulkenberg's birth, which we find out in 403 with Uma. And more information that shakes up the succession itself. Prince Hulkenberg will surely make use of it. And one more hope, Karapika. As long as the succession continues, the princes can't escape the ship. Please come up with something so no more princes have to die. And they're essentially revealing the information in chapter 383, where a prince is unable to leave because of the hands.
Okay. We're
Which means OG plan of having Oito and Wobo as a stowaway in order to have them escape is null and void. It's useless.
Yep. We're gonna run through the chapter 403 quickly because I have to do something. I have some business to attend to. But
what did you think of that chapter?
Good. A lot of characterization, a lot of political reveals, a lot of
very set up and plot
lore
movement heavy chapter.
Yeah, there's a lot of lore that was dropped in the chapter.
Yeah, some cocky military lore, setting up like cocky and prince lore through these letters, and I forget, man, because chapter 401 was like a more of a bombshell hype chapter, whereas 402 was like a classic Togashi chapter, a yap chapter, as people like to call it. Mm-hmm. It's not as like exciting in the traditional sense, but it was great just to see these characters again. And I loved it.
A lot more of an action heavy chapter, which honestly we're gonna like blitz through some of this stuff quickly and just see how Basamoko gets absolutely washed.
Yeah. And 402, day 11, Wednesday, 8:50 a.m. We go back in time to almost 2 hours and a few minutes.
Yeah, almost an hour and a half. An hour and a half before that.
Yep. And here we see Balsamoko. He goes to tier 2. 9th Prince Hulkenberg's guards aren't anywhere near the courtroom. His closest men are under the surveillance in the VVIP area. And the phenomenal paneling, by the way. The art is phenomenal.
Yeah.
And the others were separated and reassigned to tier 3 and below. Hulkenberg doesn't have anyone beside him to produce that powerful rumbling, because that was the plan in chapter 388 or 389.
You see Balsamoko so confident, then he's like, he's close enough during the examination that he has no way to escape.
Yeah.
And that judging,
in order to have Hulkenberg
he really is super confident that he'll be able to close the distance to give the TSK 17, but clearly that doesn't happen.
Yeah.
He gets nowhere close.
My goat is just a step ahead. Hold on. Let me.
He sees
specifically chapter
Vict.
Yeah, Vict. And this is the guy that was taken out in chapter 389.
Yep.
And I've always been talking about how. Let me find it. Oh no, it's right here.
Man's got folded.
Yeah, like phenomenal pound.
This is where we see like Vict is the same dude who we saw Hockenberg absolutely do his undodgeable attack on him and absolutely off-screened him completely.
Yeah, we didn't see it, but we saw Balsamoko and Benjamin react to him through the telecom. Yep, phenomenal paneling. Paying attention, Vict. And then he immediately uses military sign language because, of course, he can't speak.
Yeah.
So he used military sign language to have Balsamoko think that, okay, this guy...
He figured out his ability.
Yeah.
But he doesn't know he's being played.
Yeah. Or he's just basically distracting him, trying to figure it out. Meanwhile, you have these guys who are onlookers, or actually with dude, he had this whole plan, this whole trap set up, and he had this person on the computer, Hulk, and this guy Hulkenberg, charisma on a different level, has people who aren't even his bodyguards uniting for to form his arrow, and this arrow is also able to pierce through walls, completely taking this Balsamoko by surprise. The position, and this guy was using like actual mathematics. Position of Balsamoko. And he was doing this in seconds. 11.90 meters away from the two of them. Triangle leg depth, 25 meters, width 11.9. angle the shot at
Yeah,
26
yeah.
degrees,
You
and then
could
steps
clearly
facing
see that
standing forward.
Hockenberg. This entire page is meant to show how smart and calculating Hockenberg can be, even
Mhm.
without using just his education and his intelligence to basically calculate trajectory and using that to help land his
Yep.
attacks.
And we get we need to.
Mm-hmm.
Have you ever watched or read this? We need to talk about Kevin Grin.
Sorry, what's up? No, I haven't heard.
Okay. So essentially, the it's a reference that Togashi's using. The character Kevin, he uses an arrow that killed his father and sister, and he also perpetrated an attack on his school. It's a story about nature versus nurture, you know, about what makes a about it's a story about evil
Mm-hmm.
and what pushes how Kevin became who he is, and what are and he talks about motherhood, all this sort of stuff. And this is important because we later find out in this chapter that Hulkenberg is not the child of Dwalzel the Second Queen, but actually the child of
We'll get
Uma.
there. We'll get there.
We'll get there. But the thematics to him and Seti, my boy, and then he attacks, and we don't see the result. And then we go back in time to Benjamin. This is before Kaiser and Fugetsu and them pulled up, and this is where he finds out that Hulkenberg fell ill, and that the trial is postponed. And then he's confused because he felt the rumbling. Equipment issues imply the mission wasn't executed. No, Hulkenberg's ability went off first. The only reasonable conclusion is that it was directed at Balsamilko. Balsa was the one attacked. Why did Hulkenberg fall ill? Of course, we end up finding out in 404 that he was the one that fell unconscious because his ability works. His arrow ability is RNG. Him or any of his bodyguards could randomly be swapped for have their soul swapped. How is he able to use his ability by himself anyway? That's impossible.
We then, you know, get to see Benjamin basically trying to figure out whether this really is Balsamilko or whether this is Hockenberg, because
Yeah,
there's no way for him to confirm whether this really the plan did go successfully or not, because
yeah.
for him to try and do so directly would be a violation of the rules of the you
Yep.
know the game.
He suddenly fell sick, collapsed on the spot, resting in sick bay. Was anyone with him? Yes, 10 or so supporters who went to his aid. Few were still with him attending. So his supporters assist in his ability and the way he's figuring things out. With enough loyalty, it doesn't matter what organization it belonged to. First Prince Benjamin, the captain, is here. And then he speaks to Balsamilko. This has to be a trap. Hulkenberg's illness is fake. The captain was attacked and is not talking of his own volition. We find out that it's Hulkenberg speaking through Balsamilko and that he ends up poisoning his own body.
Yeah.
This means that this is a coercive manipulation ability. When it happened to Shikaku, Balsamilko said manipulation is first come, first served, perhaps between individuals, but it doesn't apply against powerful men formed by a unified group working collectively. What will the manipulated captain have up his sleeve? And then he starts speaking. I haven't started my execution yet. I haven't executed the mission yet. Trouble on Hulkenberg's side and the trial is postponed. Did you notice the rumbling earlier? Of course, Hulkenberg is out here playing. Of course, Togashi subverts your expectations by making you think Hulkenberg failed or that he missed and that Balsamilko was able to counter him. Near the end of this chapter, he actually reveals that this is actually Hulkenberg the whole time. Nen arrow was fired, but it missed. Hulkenberg lost consciousness on the spot because he used his ability multiple times over a short period or due to the strain of having civilians instead of personal guards.
Say Balsamilko, if you try to return here without executing mission, consider a
Nope.
coup d'etat and collision with Hockenberg. It's martial law. No, but this is actually our chance. I would like permission to go see Hockenberg. A few of his supporters will probably be by his side. Is that all right with you? So Benjamin is like, okay. He's going to do the deed in sick bay and pretend he used the time to opportunity to entrap me.
You make the call. I only want the results.
Yeah, yeah.
Yep.
That's right.
Understand. This is such a hype stop plot, man, because of where it ends up leading in 410. I will not return until I can demonstrate that my mission has been completed. Please let my men know.
I will get the results you want within the day.
Yep.
Yeah, and then
Butch.
obviously this gave red flags to you know to Benjamin, which is why he called Butch.
Yep. And he's wavering and hesitating because obviously he has like a close relationship with Balsamoko. He might even consider his friend and ally. And he's kind of frazzled because he wants to believe that Balsamoko is telling the truth, not knowing that that's actually his brother. And then he says that if Balsamoko leaves without completing the mission, or if it doesn't
Without
notify
leave the justice without notifying us, declare martial
the
law, which
martial
we
law,
know he did.
yeah,
You know,
but for
in
different
410.
reasons.
Yeah, but for different reasons.
Yeah, Your
So
Highness. And then this is where they meet. The senior officials let them through. It wouldn't hurt to foster a good relationship with the Justice Department. And then here we go. We see Unma for the first time in the whole story.
yeah,
And here we see the crib in the background. This comes back into play in 410. Sounds like the kind of choice you would make. I support it. I'm sorry I won't be able
proud
to
of
see you
you.
at the
Yeah,
banquet.
first queen, Hogmark's real mother. Everyone stays
Such
quiet.
an insane bombshell, bro.
The first queen has a secret favorite. The second from assassination subplots from all siblings. By changing his order in line to the throne, that is the prevailing theory on international websites.
You know,
Order is
the
not
order
natural
of meaning
master.
is little succession. Now that the
Yeah.
Sixers battle has begun, but if the rumors are true, there's a big problem. The first queen might be using her power to pull the strings for Hulkenberg. There's still things I can do and say, because I am dead. Please look after Fugetsu. Yeah, and it's interesting because of what this means for Seti. Because Seti is supposedly the child of Unma, but now we know that Hulkenberg is actually the real a child of Unma as well. So there's a potential swap, and we know that it's a
Yeah,
very
you can
high
see Kaiser's reaction to this.
possibility that Seti put up chapter 350 Grin,
You can see.
because Togashi sets this up in this piece of dialogue here. Entering boarding school in the middle of elementary, in elementary grades, was rumored to be his exile as well as an escape from assassination.
Yeah.
Considering what we find out here, even when he was younger, that this is recontextualized with Unma pulling strings under the guise that this was exile, when in reality this was her protecting her child.
Yeah.
Bro, how much, bro? I feel so bad for Benjamin. He's not even the favorite child, bro.
Yep.
The
Yep.
favoritism.
After that, we get the letter cut back to the letters
Yep.
from the previous chapter. Everybody else's
Yep.
responses
Everyone
to
else
the.
is reading it. Yep.
There's some more of the whole thing. There's like the ones that rejected the letter of fourth and 13th princes, and the
Yep.
ninth is under medical treatment. Um, well, if you know the one of them become interested, tip off it's a windfall. Hard part. Thanks to Bashri, was just so. We cut away from like Gacho and
Grin,
Kaiser and Melody a little bit later.
there's an interesting theory that said he actually used his future ability to read the letter, but of course, like they see him and they see him doing
Mhm.
something else because they're seeing the illusion. But he likely read the letter in secret. Granted, I maybe this has a potential of coming back.
Okay. We cut to Obel and Uito and
You know,
Kurapika.
basically informing Oito that escaping the ship is death itself.
Yeah.
The ship itself is the urn for the worm toxin, so the prince must continue until one of us is left. Nen envelops the ship. Krennic is nothing but death is allowed. But I think there's hope instead. There's something I need permission for to protect Wobel and the other young princes. And we find out, I believe it's later in this chapter, but Kurapika intends to reveal the contents of Oito's letter as
Yep.
a way to share information and as deterrent.
Yep.
Yep.
to build trust essentially from
Yeah,
between her and
and
everybody else.
we're gonna find out what this is in the next batch that we're gonna get very soon.
Yep.
And that letter is probably gonna be extreme crazy lore. And then you
The
take the
coins.
show, bro. Take the show, bro. Your
Yeah, get
boy.
the coins. Yeah.
Yep.
Shang-Li's like, I have currently 7 coins of the Guardian. It's pretty. There are 3 others I gave to others. Issued 1 coin back. Bro, the coins are what I want, bro. I need to know what the coins do. Why do they change from 1 to 10 exponentially and then 10 to 100? Like, I don't remember. I don't know if the others, the viewers know this, but me and Hart actually did like the math of what would it be? How much would a single coin values be if this man just kept it with him for an entire year, and it was somewhere in like the quintillions
Mm, yeah.
because
Theoretically,
it increases exponentially.
yeah, this man Jane Lee could easily be the Batman of Hunter x Hunter, bro. The prep time
Good.
god.
The
The prep
prep
time
time
god,
god.
bro. Yeah. Because
If he keeps the
these
coins with him
coins,
for long enough, assuming there's no upper limit to the value of a single coin,
these coins could have like some of the strongest aura we've ever seen in the story.
like give that he really could be him because I don't know what his ability is. We don't know what his net ability specifically is, but me and Hart theorized that basically it requires him to store the coins long enough to increase to such a insane value that once it has reached said point in value, he can then use it on himself to awaken his latent net ability. Kind of like what we learned like early on in the series about what was it? Wing basically said you can, if someone shocks your body, you can awaken Nen, right?
Yeah.
So that's what I theorized, that like if he gets these Nen coins and its value
Yep.
increases,
But I
he
mean,
could
it couldn't be.
maybe awaken his own Nen in that kind of a manner.
Hmm. Yeah. Like right now, he's asking his men to like offer up ideas, and of course, your boy says these are all mediocre ideas I
Yep.
thought of already. Men utterly lack the knowledge or experience to make conjectures on Nen abilities. Call room 1014.
Yep.
Information on Nen that could have. Look at this clean panel of your boy.
Yeah.
Kind of looks swaggy. You
So
know, I
mark the
need
hard
Karate.
value coin with the date 10 days ago, and each new coin from now will be marked with the production date. Then we can verify if all of this is true in 10 days at the latest. Anything else? Need to follow up on the coins you gave away. It gives added value to those who hold one, or maybe it represents parameters related to the owner's growth. Maybe you simply use them as money value. If the coins increase in value in order of magnitude in 10 days, the 10 coin will be worth 10,000 in 1 month.
No, hocus pocus in 630 days.
If
Sir,
its
never
value increases to 10,000 in 1 month, what, 10 to the power 4. So okay, so what I'm hearing is from 1 to 10 in 10 days.
Mm-hmm.
And then from that, from 10 to, if you kept the coin for a month, it would increase to, is he saying it would increase to 10,000 in a month, or would it go from a month after it gets from 10?
Yeah.
Okay, so in a span of 40 days, maybe 30, 40 days, it goes to 10,000. Then that means every 10 days, the coin's worth increases by, that means each coin increases in value every 10 days of 10 to the power 1, 10 to the power 2, 10 to the power 3. So by the end of a year, which is 54 weeks, technically, if you started the year at having a 10 coin, and then, well, how many weeks are there in a year? 54, 56 weeks?
There's like what 361 days in a year.
365.
Yeah, around that time. Yeah.
365 divided by 7, so 52 weeks. Okay. So 10 to the power of, I don't know. So 360 divided by, so 36, right? 10 to the power 36. Yeah, yeah. 10 to the power 36 value on a single coin is absurd if he keeps it in a month it goes up to 10,000. I don't know what that is. If that's anywhere similar to like the battle level or nen level, kind of like what Morena's group talks about. You remember how they talk about like battle levels and nen levels? Then I don't know what 10,000 would be in a month from now. And how long is this journey, by the way? From here to
several months.
Okay, yeah. Then the ability would go up.
Yeah, if I remember, it's a
Drastically.
3-month voyage.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, we get a follow up of this subplot in chapter 404, where we start to finally learn some things about this man's coin ability. That's Togashi has been teasing us for years.
Yep. Then anyway, go next.
Yep,
See
Kaiser and
Hockenberg.
Steiner,
Yep.
and we continue the story from where Kaiser was with them. So we're now moving past that, and then
Hockenberg.
they may experience effects similar to massive hypnosis after meeting me, but don't be
Kaiser and
alarmed. The
Steiner.
joy of asking in my presence, combined with the sudden release of anxiety from the anticipation, will do that to some people. They recover quickly. That one, yes. And this is where Kaiser intends to meet Hulkenberg, and he essentially meets Wario Bay because he finds out that Wario Bay fell unconscious, and he's basically trying to gather information on his own, and it can't be explained by coincidence. Try telling them our situation in order to find out what Hulkenberg is trying to do and form an alliance, ostensibly for observation, or I'll do the interview just in case. Tell me. I just don't know what Hulkenberg would think of my actions, considering he likes to be fair and upstanding.
Yep.
It's too risky to meet Hulkenberg in person
For
when his
sure is
ability
a
is unknown.
vision.
So we get actual, and this is one of the few rare times we get inside Hulk.
Oh, you cut out. I couldn't hear you. What did you say?
It's very likely that he always knew about them.
Sorry, you cut out. I didn't hear. What did you say? It's one of the few chances.
The few moments where we get inside this guy's head, and that this guy, we believe that he's always known that. Melody believes this as well, but he's immediately going to the belief that that Hulkenberg has been using his ability, and he wants to be careful, so he's going through Wario Bay instead. And of course, Wario is being silent. Wario is being silent, and because Hulkenberg, being this G, predicted Kaiser's actions himself. One of the most unreadable, unpredictable people in the story. Basically told him like, yo, if someone comes to you and starts talking about Nen ability, show him the mark.
Yep.
If you brought up the topics. And then he says, Ninth Prince Hulkenberg is going to die soon.
And we cut away from that.
Yep. And then we go to
Balsamaka. Yeah.
Yeah.
Hulkenberg in Balsamaka's body. Confirmed,
yeah. Such
obviously.
a goated panel, bro. This is so good. Like the reveal. And then they're surrounding him. The TSK-17 is injected within him,
and then
then
the
we go
last
back to
panel of
Kurapika
the
and Moito. Yep. Basically wanting to go public with their letter. And then we get Kurapika's reasoning. I will, by making not my letter, but the letter addressed to you. To avoid unnecessary suspicion, the letter to the higher princes expose their scandals and crimes. If they get nervous that the lower whole districts, it might accelerate the conflict. Second, I'm hoping making Prince
Kacho's wishes known put a damper on the succession battle. He really wants to try and stop the succession battle from proceeding, because right now it feels like a lot of the princes are taking a lot of risks to try and take people out. So he's trying to use, Kacho's wish as a deterrent to maybe have them rethink whether they really want to continue succession battle or not.
Yeah. And three, by advertising the fact we can expect some kind of contact from higher rank princes, we may come up empty handed. Depending on who comes knocking and for what, we can use postponing or canceling the letter as reveal as a bargaining chip.
Yeah.
In order to have people yo, don't reveal this.
Yeah.
And this is where we leave off, where he goes to room 1003 to Zhang Li. And of course we see that in 404, which we'll talk about next time.
Yeah. But that is all we have for you guys today. If there's anything else, peak, man, peak. Because honestly, we got a lot of load and political implications and stuff.
Like, compared to most manga, a chapter of Hunter feels like multiple chapters in one.
Mm-hmm.
With the amount of contact, stuff to discuss, plot movement, it's crazy. And he's Togashi's setting up subplots that we're gonna get in this batch.
Mm-hmm. But that'll be it for my take. For if you guys have anything else, please comment down. Yep. Obviously, Hart was in his agenda. Agenda piece.
Mm-hmm. I had fun, bro. Don't worry. These guys aren't ready when we make that bingo sheet, because then I'm gonna go full on my Bubblicious agenda and my Benjamin agenda.
I'll say this though, my agenda will probably happen on the chapter everybody knows is the most goated chapter of the last batch, 406. Legendary chapter. The Crollo agenda is about to be out of this world. But that being said, thank you for taking the time to listen to us. Drop your comments below, give this video a like, and let us know if you have anything else. Any last thoughts for you, Hart?
No, you said it all. Take care.
Take care. See y'all.